working with simplifying rational powers. And the idea for this is to recognize when you have perfect powers. Okay? So when you're looking at these rational powers, and this is definitely something that you might need to answer a type of question that you will see on the ACT. Okay? It's possible it could show up on the SAT, but the they show up a little more often on ACT type questions. But the idea is, if you're dealing with rational powers, where you see the denominator is the index of your radical, what you're looking to do is see, are the values that are the bases of these exponents perfect powers, especially perfect powers of whatever that index is. So here on this, what you can do is you can think of this as 16 is a perfect power. Right? It's 4 squared. Now, we're looking for powers of 2 or of 4. Okay, so 4 is also a perfect power, so you could also think of this as 2 squared. Squared, power to a power, you multiply. So 16 is also 2 to the 4th. So if you think of it as one of those bases, what this allows you to do is it allows you to think of this as 2 to the power of 4 as your base, to the minus 3/4. And now when you take a power to a power, what do you do with the powers? Multiply. So the 4's cancel, you get 2 to the minus 3. That becomes 1 over 2 to the 3rd. Again, the negative power moves the base to the denominator. And then you can simplify what you have. 2 cubed is 8. And now, at the same time, what you could also do, in addition to converting the base to an exponential form, is you could just apply your index first. So you could apply this index of 1/4. They're the fourths is the 4th root. So you could think of this as the 4th root of 16 all to the minus 3rd. And if that was the case, you could say the 4th root of 16 is 2. 2 to the minus 3rd is 1 over 2 cubed, which is 1 over 8. So either of those methods of approaching it are going to lead you to your solution. Okay, so try this second one on your own if you're working through these. And can you simplify what that rational power is by hand? Now, even though I'm allowing you to use calculators for this chapter, these are types of questions that most of the time you can probably do this quicker with a mental calculation than trying to enter it in your calculator. So to be comfortable and familiar with it is, again, a helpful thing. So you can either think of, again, the negative can stay out front. Okay? So I'll leave the negative out front. You can either think of 125 as being 5 cubed to the 2/3, power to a power you multiply, giving you the 3's cancel. So negative 5 squared. The negative still stays out front. 5 squared is 25. And so that would be the simplified form. Be careful with your negatives. Okay? If you think of this square as being applying to the whole base negative 125, then it's going to change the sign, so you want to be careful with that. So I'm just going to go through, like basically today is a show you with your calculator type of day. Again, the vast majority of questions here are solving problems. Okay? And so you will need to know how to do them by hand. Like I said, there will be a test over material from chapter 1 through 4, and this material will be on that you need to solve with no calculator, but I'm going to talk through how to approach this using your calculator today. Okay. All right, so the first things are, and the 2-6 homework should be open right now. Please let me know if it's not. It should be available if you want to be working on it as well. You can, and then you can kind of follow along with me when I'm going through the material here. Okay, so the first type of problem is solving equations that have, evaluating expressions with rational powers. Okay, when you set up a rational power on the TI-89, okay, like I said, we'll go through the way to do this by hand. Okay, but the power, the symbol to use for taking something to the power of is this caret symbol right here, right above the division. Okay, so 16 to the power of, and any rational powers you need to make sure you put inside their own set of parentheses. Okay, and so if you just copy down what you have and hit enter, it will evaluate for you. So in that case, we saw the answer of 1/8. Okay. The negative 125. Now, you want to be really careful when you're dealing with negatives. Okay? If there's, when you're looking at the expression, if you type in and it looks exactly like what your expression looks like, so here, negative 125 to the power of 2/3. Notice I didn't put grouping symbols around the negative 125 because they weren't there in my expression. So when I hit enter, I get my answer, negative 25. If you had put parentheses around that the negative 125, it would have converted this into a positive number. So be careful with your signs.